Hello, welcome and welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz and I will be guiding you on this journey. So it's April. These messages really are, kind of whenever you see them, but I do tend to do them at least monthly. So this month we're using the Work Your Light Oracle deck, and then we're using the Wandering Moon Tarot for additional information. We'll get an oracle card for the overall vibe, and then of course pull 6 tarot cards and see what the vibe is. I have my little bowl here of all of the zodiac, all of the human design profile numbers. I'm just gonna pick one. All right, let's see who's next. Oh, hello, Scorpio. Let's do it. Like, I was having a hard time even grabbing the paper. Random. I keep kind of chuckling because we haven't had a human design profile reading yet, which is okay, everything in divine timing, but I was kind of laughing. So, we are going to get an oracle card for the overall vibe. I think I said that in the intro. So let's see. All right. Starseed, what lights you up? That's beautiful. Let's get the tarot cards, and then of course we'll talk about that. Let me turn off my humidifier too. I don't know if you can hear it. I'll just turn it off for now. All right, we need 6 tarot cards for our Scorpios. I just saw somewhere, it might have been somebody that I follow on YouTube actually, or like subscribe to or whatever on YouTube, but that Scorpio is the, like there's more Scorpios than any other signs. Which is, like kind of funny because, I mean, like conception would have had to have been around Valentine's Day, right? Is that right? We have the 7 of Wands in the reverse. I don't know. Anyway, that was just kind of funny. Fun fact. Fun Scorpio fact. Like, let me make sure that I'm shuffling these upright. We only take the cards that fall out. We don't take the flippers. My decks and I have an agreement with that. There have been so many people that have been like, you're doing it wrong. Like, who says? Interesting. We have the 2 of Wands, 3 of Wands, Scorpio. How fascinating. Ten of Pentacles. I was going to say if those were the same 2 cards that were, but they weren't. 2 more. The Star, beautiful. 1 more. Eight of Wands and Temperance. Interesting. Okay. I want to read from the book on Starseed. Get some more information. Well, you can see that okay. So it says, Starseeds are souls with a double mission: to raise their own consciousness and the consciousness of the planet. They are old souls who have incarnated elsewhere beyond this planet. Many starseeds arrive with the feeling that time is running out and that there is something that they came here to do or create or contribute. If you pulled this card, it is to confirm that you are a starseed and you are being encouraged to answer the call, to follow what lights you up. Once awake, most starseed souls find it hard to have meaningless conversations, jobs, and relationships. They innately know that there is much more to life and feel that there is something more to and get to work. They remain restless until they step into their calling, which is to light up the world with their unique presence. Starseeds are scattered all over the planet, in hospitals and schools, in slums and mansions, on stages and in edit suites, in parks and nightclubs, in taxis and theme parks. Many starseeds spend parts of their lives trying to fit in or in some form of spiritual closet. If you are dimming your light to fit in, it is time that you stop and start embracing the unique light you came here to share, and treat your time on earth like a glorious vacation. I love that. I'm always so grateful that I read out of the book when I do, because I don't read out of the book every single time, but when I feel, like called to, it's even like so, like, I was even thinking when these cards were coming out, this is so clear. So thank you for that. Thank you for making it clear, Scorpio. It's also just really interesting too that I just did Cancer's reading, and the top 3 cards for them were also in the reverse. So, I mean, not that there's necessarily a correlation between them. I mean, you might have significant Cancer placements and may want to watch that video. You don't have to. It's just, I just find that funny because my brain recognizes patterns. So let's just start from the beginning. We'll kind of see what unfolds here. So we start with the 7 of Wands. And the 7 of Wands talks about, actually, hold on. I need my chapstick. Okay. I got some lotion too. It's interesting because before the reading, I sit here and, I shuffle the cards a million times, just to be sure, just to kind of close the energy from the previous reading, clear it out, get ready for the next one. And since I use this little bowl thing now to pick the next sign, I don't really know who I'm going to read for next, but I'm still kind of sitting here, just getting into the energy, grounding myself and all of that. Right. And my hands started hurting, just aching, not necessarily arthritis or anything. I mean, it could be that if you experience something along those lines, but I mean, maybe you're working with your hands a lot. Maybe your hands are dry, I don't know. But there was also even this message about taking care of yourself in some capacity. My lips were chapped. Well, they're always chapped anyway. They're addicted to chapstick. I can't even tell you the last time I went a significant amount of time without putting chapstick on my, I was an infant. But it's like, but it's more about like honoring those things. Like if there's something that your body needs, right? Like kind of allow yourself to honor that. Okay. So now that that message is out there, the Seven of Wands, upright, traditionally it talks about standing your ground. It's defending your actions, because wands have to do with action, communication, it's creativity, our passion, our desires, it's fire, right? So it's all of those things that come along with fire energy. So it's, how are you communicating your creativity or your passions? How are you acting on those things? They're also about information, whether you're giving information or receiving it. And since wands have to do with the actual, steps that we take towards a thing, we pick up information, we pick up knowledge, because that's how we learn, right? Like we learn what works, we learn what doesn't work, we learn what we like, we learn what we don't like by trying things. So, we pick up wisdom along the way. We learn a lot of stuff about ourselves too. So with the Seven of Wands, it's like you get to a point where, people start recognizing what you're doing. And I always see it because there's a figure holding a wand, and they're like kind of taking like a defensive stance, like they have to defend themselves against the six wands that are coming up at them. And I see those six wands as being other people's projections, like their fears, their reasons why not to do a thing, their failure or fear of failure, or even fear of success. But it has like nothing to do with you. But it's, that's what projections are, right? It's somebody trying to influence your actions based on their experience, And so, like if somebody could never allow themselves to act on a passion or act on a creativity, then they can't possibly understand how you could do it. And their own fear and them holding themselves back, they're just going to project that onto you. So that's how I see the Seven of Wands upright. And with it being reversed, it's like literally the opposite of those things. So you may not be defending your passions. You may not be pursuing something creative that you have a desire for. And literally, that can be anything. I love how, like the book was talking about, okay, hello, bringing it back to the card, speaking of what lights you up. The Seven of Wands is saying that you're not necessarily even looking at that. Maybe you feel like you don't have accessibility to it to some degree. But I love how the book says, starseeds are scattered all over the planet in hospitals, schools, slums and mansions, stages and in edit suites, parks and nightclubs, taxis and theme parks. So it's like, it doesn't have to be some like big expression of something, or, like going viral, or, whatever big thing, right? Because I feel like, for me anyway, and this could be me projecting, but like when you start thinking about like the possibilities, and when you do start thinking about the things that light you up, right, then you start thinking about like the attention that's going to come along with it if you start putting yourself out there. And then it's like, I don't actually like to be perceived. I don't actually like, I don't actually want to like defend what I'm doing, or feel like I have to defend what I'm doing in some capacity, whatever capacity. And it's paired with the Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles, Pentacles have to do with our money, how we get it, how we spend it, how we save it, even how we invest it. You know, it has to do with our time. What are we investing our time in? You know, how are we giving ourselves time? It's also our physical body, right? The actual vessel that you as a starseed is, you know, calling home in this dimension. I mean, you know, like starseed might even be something that you want to like explore a little bit, because there are different what's the word? I want to say constellations. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but that's a word that keeps coming to mind, where, you know, like different starseeds are from. I know Pleiades is one. I can't think of the other ones. I'm going to stop trying. Because they all have, you know, like unique names like that. And it's just, it is not going to come to my mind. So, I mean, even since the Starseed card came out, if you haven't, you know, if that's kind of like a new thing to you, like it was to me at one time, it might just be interesting to look into it. But of course, use your discernment when you are looking into those things, because I don't know, like there's some people out there, I've seen videos, and you know, like if you get the ick from somebody, then trust that and move on to a different video. So Pentacles have to do with anything monetary, anything we can touch. It's literally everything in this physical dimension, right? Like this 3D dimension. So it's really kind of interesting that, you know, I mean, we're even talking about star seeds and what lights you up and, you know, passions and everything. And then we have the card that's like grounding us in this physical dimension. I mean, they're literally sitting on the ground, which is the best grounding pose, right? Like literally setting your root chakra on the ground. So with it being a 10, there's a level of completion with it. And 10s talk about sharing your abundance with other people, sharing your knowledge, sharing your resources, your materials. There can be a family aspect to it, but it's like generational wealth. It could be an inheritance, but it's also legacy. You know, it's like, what do I want to be known for? What do I want to be remembered for? And again, that doesn't have to be like a Nobel Prize or, you know, like something along those lines. It could be literally being remembered for acting on your passions, for doing the things that light you up, because then it's like you give permission to other people to do the same in their lives. But this is reaching a point of success. So with the Seven of Wands being in the reverse, it's like preventing or even resisting this potential. It could even be that family is maybe having too much of an opinion. Like their opinion is carrying a bit too much weight in what you do. And I get that. It's really hard to overcome that. And that could be why this card is even coming, because it's a very simple, what lights you up? And maybe this is a question that you've been asking yourself. Maybe that's something that you've been missing in your life for the last little while. And then we move on to the Two of Wands. And the Two of Wands is about planning for the future. We start with the Ace, of course, right? That's that spark of creativity, passion, right? I mean, something new comes in, you discover something new. And then with the Two of Wands, it's like, okay, great. What am I going to do with this flame now? Like, what am I going to do with this spark? What are the possibilities that I can expand on with this? So it has this like, you know, kind of planning thing about like, what actions am I going to take towards the thing? So again, with it being in the reverse, none of that's happening. And it could be just some level of resistance. Because, I mean, maybe you feel like the thing that lights you up, maybe you feel like it is out of reach for you in some capacity. But that's also too because, you know, when we start thinking way too far ahead, you know, like we go from point A to like point Y, right? It's like there's all of those other letters in the middle that we haven't even like got through yet. And I love that Temperance is out here. So, I mean, obviously we're going to get to her, but, you know, he, she, they. But it's, you know, again, it's like, you know, if we're thinking too far in the future, that's where anxiety comes from. If we're thinking too far in the past, that's where fear comes from. And if we're, you know, chilling in the present, we're usually pretty neutral. And I love that it's paired with the Star card, because the Star card, it's hello, Aquarius. Temperance is Sagittarius. I mean, those people can be around, they don't have to be. But the Star talks about trusting the process. There's a faith and hope aspect to it. I also see the Star card as being that space between the 5D, where, you know, we co-create, we manifest the desires that we have, the creativity, and the 3D, where we are. And it's that space between where the Star is. And it's, you know, like working on taking actionable steps towards melding those two, to bringing those manifestations down into the 3D. Because if you are trying to manifest a thing, then it is available. The energy is available, because it wouldn't even pop up into your brain or your heart space, your body. It wouldn't even pop up if the energy wasn't available. So, you know, but we have to take actionable steps towards the things that we want to manifest. We can't just say, well, you know, I want this, and then just sit there. We can. I have a lot, still do. But the missing ingredient is action. And that could be why the Two of Wands is sitting here in the reverse. The bottom of my left foot is itching so bad right now. Like, oh my gosh. It is driving me crazy. Okay. I'm just saying that out loud, because if I draw attention to it, then maybe it'll just like go away. I mean, you know, because we can even see this hand like reaching for the Star, right? I mean, literally reaching. I mean, you know, like, and it could even be that your dreams or your what you're planning to do, what you want to do, it could even be that they're too small. Like you're not thinking large enough. Like you have the potential for more, but, you know, like just experience, life, you know, interactions that we've had with people, blah, blah, blah. That kind of starts creating blocks where we're like, you know, we can't take up that much space, or how dare I think that I could, you know, whatever the case may be. So that could even be why you might be in this, you know, thing of either indecision or resistance. Like, you're not thinking large enough. Think bigger. And frankly, it's, you know, we don't really have any cups. No, we don't have any water out here. But what was I even going to say about that? It's like the thought is gone. Oh, imagination. The possibilities are literally limited by our imagination. Right? Like, and so if we don't even like allow our imagination to expand, and it's not even like we have to try to imagine all of the possibilities, but it's almost like allowing there to be a big enough proverbial container for possibilities to fit in. And this is, I'll say this really fast, not to like go off on a tangent, but I always kind of do this like little exercise with myself where I kind of go into like, you know, a meditation or just trying to like clear my mind type of thing, you know. But most of the times it's like I have to visualize something to like focus my brain on, so my like random ass thoughts don't just take over. So I imagine myself literally in outer space. Whatever outer space looks like in my mind. It probably is not at all what actual outer space looks like. But I imagine myself out there floating. Right? And I imagine like how vast outer space is. And it's almost like, you know, this bubble around me. Because I don't know the shape of outer space. Like, you know, the earth is round, but, you know, is outer space round? I have no effing clue. But I picture it as basically like this bubble, you know, and I try to allow that to just continue to get larger and larger, you know, like as soon as I feel like I can't imagine it being any bigger, it's like I almost just kind of set the intention to expand it like another 8 feet. You know, can it go another 8 feet? Can it go another 10 feet? It can, and it does. But like, I don't try to fill that space with anything, right? But I just want it to be large enough to where there's room to catch any possibility imaginable, right? Even if I can't imagine it, I want to catch it. Like, I want my bubble to be so large that it just, whatever that possibility is, it's going to fly right into that bubble. So that's just me. And then we have the Three of Wands, which I love a progression. Like, I feel like progressions make my toes curl. Like, not like that. It just, you know, like, I love it. So, and especially right next to each other, come on. The odds of that happening are like fairly rare. And I want to see, because of course I can't think in my head. I was going to say, are the Star card and Temperance a progression too? And I mean, to a certain degree, I mean, the Star comes after Temperance, but anyway, because that would have been crazy also. So the Three of Wands, okay. We start with the Two of Wands. We're planning, right? Plotting, planning, thinking about, you know, the steps that we're going to take. The Three of Wands is when you actually start going. Because we can see on this card when it's upright, there's a path. And the Three Wands there, I think they might be crystal. I'm not sure if they're wands or crystals. Obviously they're wands here. But the drawings, I don't know if they're crystals or wands. It doesn't matter. But there's this path that opens up here. So, you know, all of this planning and research and, you know, whatever the case may be, it's like the path is very clear. But since there is this resistance or whatever is happening in here, it's like you can't see the path forward. And maybe that's causing some anxiety. It's like, you know, are you shooting it down before it even blossoms, you know? Like, you know, when you just kind of have those thoughts that, you know, it makes you feel excited. It gives you like some energy, right? But then it's like, no, that couldn't possibly happen. Don't do that. Try not to do that. Because again, even with imagination, like, what do you have to lose? You know? I mean, sure, could you be disappointed? But that would be if you had expectations. We're just talking about allowing yourself to imagine the possibilities here. So Temperance is about and I mentioned it somewhere over here because I was like, oh, we're going to talk about temperance. I can't exactly remember what I said. Melding or blending of energies, but temperance is just that. I mean, it's alchemy. This is, you know, understand there's a patience aspect that comes with temperance as well. Do you hear those birds outside? It's snowing. And maybe this bird is pissed about it. I get it. I would be pissed if I was out there too. But it's a blue bird. This is the first year that I've seen bluebirds around my house. We should look up the totem for that. I'm just gonna do bluebird totem. It says joy and hope. Some believe the bluebird is a symbol of joy and hope. Others that good news will be arriving soon. Others still think bluebirds represent a connection between the living and those who have passed away. There could be guidance, of course, you know, from somebody. I mean, you know, there are two people in this card, at least a silhouette of two people. So there could be assistance coming in from the afterlife or spirit guide. So anyway, I mean, I know we were talking about temperance and I like got sidetracked by that bird. I always think with temperance, I always think of chocolate. I'm a Taurus, so of course, right, chocolate, but tempering chocolate, you have to follow specific steps in order to properly temper chocolate, right? I don't know exactly what those steps are. I've just seen it a bunch of times on TV. But, you know, if you try skipping any of those steps, if you try rushing through any of those steps, then your chocolate isn't going to temper correctly and you're going to have to go back to the beginning. So, you know, that's like with temperance, there's a patience aspect to it, right? Like following steps. But also like the purpose of that though is so that things can have time to come together. Alchemy, chemistry, all of those things, right? Like, and this could even just be, I always kind of say too, like, you know, when you make a decision, right? When you start manifesting something, when you make a decision to put action towards something, then, you know, the powers that be, God, the universe, source, you know, if you believe in a higher power, but it's like, you know, they start clearing out blocks. They start, you know, opening up this path for you. So that takes time too. So, and I love that, you know, the star card comes before temperance because there is a level of trust and, you know, kind of surrender that you have to trust that the path is going to open up. And what is also so effing funny, oh my gosh, that I just realized in the Three of Wands, the path is curvy, right? And in temperance, it's a straight road. So if you have even maybe felt like the actions that you have been trying to take have not been working out, I mean, it's still information, right? It's still part of the process. And it's like, trust that what has not worked out for you is setting it up so that the best path for you can be revealed. And it's like, what is the shortest distance between 2 points? A straight line. Not a curvy line, right? That is so interesting. And then we have the Eight of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Again, I love a progression. We start with the Seven of Wands in the reverse. We end with the Eight of Wands upright. I mean, of course, it would have been upright, but there's definitely a lot of like synchronicity going on here too. So it's kind of like whatever confirmation that you need, I hope you got it out of this message. But if you didn't, then it's still like there's still confirmation in the sense of synchronicities from 7 to 8, 2 to 3. The odds of that happening is like fairly like rare. But the 8 of Wands is about communication, fast moving communication. This is even maybe like propelling forward very quickly. And that could be when once this path opens up for you, once you find this road, this straight road or path, then it's like, you know, things just kind of take off. This could even be communication coming in, like unexpected communication. It could even be having to talk to multiple people, you know, like interviewing for multiple jobs. Not that that's necessarily what this is about. It can be. It would be dependent, of course, on your situation. But just as an example, right? Like, I mean, you have to make sure that something is a right fit for you just as much as it is for somebody else. We have the Emperor, which is Aries. Fire again. This is divine masculine. So this is, you know, it's not the gender, just the energy of the divine masculine, which is go-getting, initiating. There's a bit of like law and order, you know, to this, but more like, you know, authority. There's, you know, like confidence that comes with the Emperor too. And, you know, whatever this 8 of Wands is, you know, it could even just be giving you this huge boost of confidence to even maybe get like into your power. 7 of Pentacles is about focusing your energy on a project or on a goal in order to see it to fruition. Love that. 3 of Cups is about celebration, celebrating with other people. It could be support from those around you. Cups, your energy, right? Like with the water thing, but feeling good. You know, it's meeting the right people. Look at this bird. Oh my gosh, I wish I could. There's 2 of them now. They're probably going to be gone by the time I finish this video. It would be cool to get a picture of them so I could show you what I'm talking about. It just ripped off a dead apple and threw it on the ground. Rude. Okay. And then the Ace of Wands. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Remember when I was saying, you know, we start with the Ace of Wands, that's a spark. This is something new, like this whole process back here, right? Like whatever this is, okay? Once we get to the 8 of Wands, it's like shit just starts, you know, taking off. And it could just lead you to, again, that right path, but it brings you some new level of excitement over a thing or motivation towards a thing. And then we have the World card, which is the end of a cycle. I absolutely effing love that. I love it. This is definitely an energy that you're moving through. Focus on what lights you up. I'm leaving it there. Oh, if you've made it this far, I've been trying to get better at this and I keep forgetting, but if you made it this far, thank you. If you haven't done so already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, even if it's just an emoji. I love emojis. But my focus, my energy is on catching the YouTube algorithm train. Because, you know, I want to grow this channel. I feel in a place of growth. So any help with that is greatly appreciated. And again, thank you for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.